This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wally. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca, your trusted resource for holistic education, empowerment, and community connection. Folks, you are in for a treat, as today we're going to be diving into the effects nearly every aspect of our health is concerned about. Sleep, stress, and breath, resetting the HPA axis through fascia. And we are honored today to welcome Tim Marsh, the founder of Rooted Somatics, a practitioner deeply experienced in body work, fascia integration, and trauma-informed healing. Tim brings a powerful perspective on how the mind-body connection, breath, and fascia play a pivotal role in restoring balance to our stress response system. The HPA axis, something that I don't know anything about, but folks, we're going to learn about it together. So, if you were invited by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them, as they took the time and cared enough about you to share this program. My name is Becca Dukes. I'm a certified naturopathic practitioner. I'm a certified holistic health coach. I'm also the director of student services for the Institute of Holistic Health. And I am the host of what you're watching right now, Daily with Doc, where we share powerful conversations with experts, advocates, and everyday heroes, transforming lives through faith, science, and natural health. So, folks, get your notebooks, as I am excited to welcome to the screen with me, Mr. Tim Marsh. Hello, Tim. Welcome to Daily with Doc once again. Greatly appreciate your time and all that you bring in helping us see deeper into the body and the importance of caring for our fascia.
Thank you.
So
go ahead.
I was just going to say, so Tim, as we're looking at sleep, we're looking at stress and breath. Those three things,
how do they all fit together?
Yeah.
Well, you have to get back to every culture has a word for exhaustion. Ours happens to be burnout. So the key in that sentence is burning out. So when someone can't sleep, they're usually not comfortable enough to relax. So then the body keeps the score. All hail Bessa Van der Kolk, right? And what happens is they're in their bed and they're in an area where they think they're safe, but their body doesn't believe it because the fascia is saying the opposite. Okay, so when you start talking about the fascia, you know, I've done a lot of these shows. Just think of the fascia as the second nervous system. So you have the internal nervous system of the brain, right? And then you have the other external nervous system of the brain, which is the fascia. And that tells the brain where it is in space and how to move and all that stuff. Well, I find it fascinating that after I work with someone for a heavy session, they report back to me, wow, I slept 14 hours. You know, or maybe you came home and crashed and you were wiped out when I worked on you. So what you're really talking about is their body can no longer tell the difference between safety and danger. So the most intelligent sensory fabric that we have is our fascia. And it's not a piece of chicken skin, and it's not something to be dug out with a trigger point gun, because all that's superficial. I'm talking deep, deep stuff, deep, rooted, right? There's the name of the business, rooted, right? Rooted in deep. And the fascia is just not a connective tissue, it's a communication web.
Mm.
And under chronic stress, it loses hydration. Okay, so when it does that, it it's not comfortable. So imagine, we all have had this where we're, sleeping and all of a sudden we move and we get this like nasty cramp in our leg or our calf, right? And then people
Hmm.
say, oh, well, you can eat a banana or do potassium, magnesium, whatever, right? You can even take Calm. But how come it doesn't work all the time? Because of what I'm about to describe, which is the HPA axis. Okay. And that means the hypothalamus-pituitary-adrenal axis. So if you bring up that slide.
Absolutely. So, folks, get ready to take some notes.
Okay, so not that one, the next one. Okay, so yeah, this one
This
here.
one?
Yeah, that's fine. So you can see the HPA axis stands for hypothalamus. So let's look at the hypothalamus as our nervous system. And then you see in the diagram, the arrow drops back down into CRH, right? Which is cortisol, stress hormone, cortisol releasing stress hormone. Then it goes into the pituitary gland. Well, guess what? That is our hormonal system. Then it drops down into the adrenal glands, which is our adrenal system. So all three of these are hijacked while we're trying to sleep. How's the body supposed to rest?
It doesn't.
Exactly, because it's always scanning for danger. It could be we're sitting in the office, all of a sudden our boss chews us out, and all of a sudden we're at home and we're like, wow, you know what? The only time I have to myself is in this bed. Oh, I think I'm going to start scanning for danger and start to think about that situation. Or you're not thinking about the situation, but your body's still remembering the trauma of being yelled at. So my goal today is to reintroduce people to the languages of the body. You have the fascia, you have the science, you have the breath, the regulation, and then this new part that I'm showing you today is the wisdom of traditional Chinese medicine. So yes, that's acupuncture, acupressure. And let me tell you, this is ancient, but it's still present. So what we have to do is we have to look at what happens to the fascia. So if you can go to the next slide, I think that's the one, the thyrextropathy.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So in massage therapy, bodywork world, we have this word, it's called thyrextropathy. And what we're trying to do in the fascia has this substance, it's called ground substance. And it's a gel-like substance that goes from a gel to a fluid under warmth and motion. So if I'm working with somebody and they have a frozen shoulder, they're not just sleeping with a frozen shoulder, they're sleeping with a frozen HPA axis system. And this is what people need to understand. So what happens is when we get traumatized, the danger of stuff hits our body and our body reacts and it creates a bracing or a non-safe area. And then what happens is those fascial layers become glued down to each other. And then that gets into the state of compensation. It gets into the state of not being comfortable. You know, there's a lot of people out there, they sit in the chair and they can't stop but squirm. Well, guess what? That's a reaction to the internal body scanning for danger and going, okay, I've got to be hypervigilant. Something's going on. I got to be ready for it. And then what happens is now the hormonal system comes in, the nervous system comes in, and the adrenal systems come in. And then we crank down coffee, we do all this stuff, and we get super jacked up.
When we get super jacked up, what does that do? And I know we have some listeners that love their coffee.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do to the system, or how does it affect the fascia or the whole system that we're talking about today?
It affects the whole entire body, right? You have the caffeine that jacks up our adrenal systems, right? You know, we're half asleep, we're coming out of sleep, we take our coffee, we get revved up, then we take more coffee and we get revved up. But what happens is we go on this roller coaster ride where we teach our body to not have a thing called homeostasis. And that's where everything starts to fall apart. Because if you don't have homeostasis, you don't have equilibrium. If you don't have equilibrium, you don't have the yin and the yang, and you know, and all these other different ways of saying the balance.
Mm.
So, I mean, I drink coffee, I just don't drink it past 12 o'clock. But I like that taste and I'm addicted to it and I admit it, so I have decaf coffee. It just so
After
happens.
12?
Yeah, but I have special coffee. It's the stuff bulletproof coffee. It's designed, it's made without chemicals. And frankly, I like it. I like drinking it in the afternoon because it's just something I do. But I don't allow my system to get revved up for it.
Right. Thank you for addressing that.
No problem. So when you use a foam roller or you use a trigger point gun or you use a myo ball, you're really practicing what's called thixtropathy. You're putting pressure in an area to allow the body to go, hey, wait a minute, let's hydrate this. But sometimes the hydration is so deep that we can't get it with those devices. And that's where deep tissue and that's where Rolfing and structure integration and all these other spin-offs of what I do comes in. But really what we're trying to do when we roll is we're stretching, we're hydrating. But how many people are rolling so quick that they're actually stimulating their body? Right? I work with
Mm-hmm.
athletes all the time and they're like, oh, well, here's what I do what the coach tells me. And they're on that foam roller moving a million miles an hour. Slow down. Don't get it done. Focus on what you're doing.
That leads me to the question, and can I do a question now in regards to the foam rolling?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we don't want to foam roll quickly. We want
No.
to make it slow. So as we're going across the glutamus maximus and the hind part of our thighs, the back of our legs, back of our calves,
Yeah,
is there
because you're stimulating it. So if I'm sitting there, I'm getting ready 2 hours before I go to bed and I dig out and I'm rolling vigorously, what am I teaching my body? I'm teaching my body to wake up.
okay? That makes total sense.
And if I put a ball in my butt and it's the piriformis I'm trying to release, What's on the other side of that piriformis? Oh, the sciatic nerve. You mean one of the most important nerves in our body? And here I am, I'm jamming it. But our culture, more is better. Hey, don't try this ball. Try the one that looks like a Hellraiser ball. Right? That's too much at that particular time. You want to do it in the afternoon? Go ahead, knock your socks off. You won't need a cup of coffee. You'll be all jacked up. Or at least your system will.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next slide. All right. So now what we have is we have this image. Now, this is based on traditional Chinese medicine. And there's a great book out there that I highly recommend people, if you want to follow this up, it's called The Web Has No Weaver. And it's an introduction to Chinese medicine. So what you have here is everybody knows the tight trap, right? So we're going to be talking about 2 points. The gallbladder 21, which is GB21, right? We all have that spot, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we're going to be talking about bladder 10. And we all have that spot. But what we need to understand is, what are these spots for? Okay. And what you're talking about, when you start getting into traditional Chinese medicine, you're starting to look at what is called meridians. All right. So we're going to start with the gallbladder. So the gallbladder meridian is comprised of, when you start talking about traditional Chinese medicine, you have all these different meridians and they're linked to different elements of the earth. You have wood, you have fire, you have metal, you have water. So when you start talking about the gallbladder meridian, you've got the element of wood. And the season, which all these meridians have, they have certain seasons too. So what's interesting is, when you were in this area right now of fall, well, what happens? The wind blows on our neck. We get cold. Our shoulders go up higher. Okay. Or we're in a stressful situation where our boss is chewing us out, or we're in the car and all of a sudden somebody cuts us off. Our shoulders go higher. We're sleeping with those shoulders higher. And everybody says, oh, well, it's just, I can't do anything about it. Yeah, you can't do anything about it, because what you have to do is understand what it's about to begin with. There's a lot of athletes and people out there doing shoulder shrugs. That's great. But what does it do? It makes them tighter. And there are corporate athletes out there doing shrugs when they're like, okay, I'm working out in the gym. But then when you go home, you're like, why am I wired? Well, because you just jacked up your vagus nerve that's in that area too, also. Your fight or flight response. I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm just saying, look at the time frame in which we do this stuff. So what you're looking at is, these meridians have also emotions attached to them. So you have indecision, resentment, right? And all these things feed into it. So then people go ahead and they put a lacrosse ball in their neck right before they go to bed. Well, that can't help them sleep, right? It wires them up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the last, you got the other thing, these meridians have different tastes. So the gallbladder meridian has sour taste, and the sensory organ that's attached to it is the eyes. So what happens during this time? People get a lot of allergies and their eyes start to irritate. That's how they figured that out a long time ago.
So itchy eyes can
Yeah.
be connected with the gallbladder. Am I hearing this correctly?
Yeah, but not the gallbladder we're aware of. This is
Okay,
it's a meridian.
gotcha. Okay.
So this topic is deep, right? I just want to introduce people to it. So if they decide they want to go to acupuncture or have this type of stuff, or even try to work on it themselves, I want them to understand more than what they do understand.
Gotcha.
Okay. But the gallbladder governs our ability to make decisions and act with clarity. Right. So chronic stress and fear stiffens this channel, especially around GB21, which is that X right there by the trap. And that's why people carry the language of stress in their shoulders.
I'm guilty of that one.
Yeah, a lot of them are because we're sitting there being corporate slaves in a chair looking at a computer and we're not moving our body. And we do that long enough, and then next thing you know, our fascia learns to sit in the chair, even when we're standing up at the gym going on the elliptical. Or when we're sitting in bed laying flat, but we're still in that chair. So then what happens is the shoulders get locked. The indecision literally gets frozen into our tissues. And then when we get a chance to soften GB21 with a myo ball or even a tennis ball, just lightly lay on it. You don't have to be aggressive. Just let it melt. Thixtropathy again, right? Not jackhammer thropathy. Then what happens is the the diaphragm and the eyes and the body starts to reorient itself to a state of relaxation. And as a massage therapist and everybody out there, you know, if you get somebody that digs into that really hard, it may feel good for about 3 hours, but then you're like, why am I all jacked up? Why can't I sleep? That just got stimulated.
And
So
that
now,
makes sense when I go for massages. I love doing them in the morning
yeah,
because I do feel energized throughout the day.
right. But then a lot of people don't have the freedom to do it in the afternoon, so they do it at 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
And then what that does is that tells the body, uh-oh, I'm in danger. And that's where you get some great therapists that go, instead of me being a fascia masher and jamming my elbow into GB21, what if I tried to slowly release it? Right? What if I tried to work around it and say, okay, why is it tight? Well, maybe it's the pecs that are tight. That's causing the shoulders to roll forward. And then when the shoulders roll forward, they're not staying forward. So then the brain's going to go, hey, I'm going to lift them up and hold them up. And then you go ahead and you stretch and you're like, oh, wow, why is that so hard? It's because your body's trying to protect itself. So now the next one up there is bladder 10. Now, bladder 10 is located at the base of the skull and is one of the most sensitive transitions. So, yeah, so if you see that X right there where it says bladder 10, on the other side of that, up on the top of the skull, That's where the two nerves come out, and it's called the occipital nerve. One's on one side, one on the other. Well, guess what? When that gets pinched, we get migraines, we get tension headaches, our jaw clenches. Above that is what's called our vertebrae. You have CO and C1, which is atlas and axis. And what happens is sometimes when they get subluxated or they get scissored or rotated, now your whole system is not happy. Then you go to a chiropractor and they adjust it. But then you walk out and 2 hours later it goes back. Right? It's looking at what's going on. The chiropractors are doing what they're supposed to do, but a lot of them are not being crackers anymore. They're learning how to adjust slowly as to not set off the nervous system. You
So
keep
you mean when
go
we go
ahead.
to the chiropractor
Yep.
and they're using that little machine,
That's
the
called an
actuator
that's called an actuator, yeah.
to move things, they actually are doing something. So
Of
that
course.
whole crunch, 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 crack, crack, crack is not a sign of positive movement
Oh,
forward.
that's ego. Because I work with chiropractors who themselves were adjusted and they heard the crack and it was like, oh, that was super loud. But what that does is they don't understand, well, okay, where did I get my irritable bowel? Well, guess what? When you jack that up so hard, your body has to react. So a lot of chiropractors are starting to go away from cracking and they're starting to look at it from a different standpoint, which is functional neurology chiropractic, which means when I adjust this spot, I'm just not adjusting this spot. I'm adjusting that whole person's HPA. And we've all seen those videos where the people wrap them up in their heads and they pull back and you hear this loud crack. Well, guess what? There's a lot of chiropractors out there being sued right now because they forced that. And now the people have small little fractures in their vertebrae, or, they have subluxated areas, which means they're so loose because they've been adjusted too much.
Mm.
Right? But again, I'm not coming down on chiropractic. It's important, but it's also important to inform the client as to what's going on and not going on the table and going, okay, yeah, I'm going to eat my piece of steak and stay in the matrix and I don't be ignorant. So go ahead and crack me. That's my purpose for doing these shows, is to teach people. So anyway, getting back to it. So you have the bladder, the BL10. And when this area gets locked, sleep becomes fragmented because the body can't descend into rest because the nervous system is guarding the gateway, which is that area. Because our brain stem is on the other side of that. So by releasing the occipital line, which is that skull down at the bottom, right? You allow the body to hear differently. You allow it to feel differently. So a lot of times when I tell people, and I work on these areas, they're like, well, you're not getting that spot. I say, I don't want to set you off. I want to set you free.
Mm.
You remember, Becca, when I started with you? I didn't start up there.
No.
Yeah, why would I do that? That would be idiotic for me because all I'm doing is tightening it up right after you leave. All right, next slide.
Well, it's making more sense to me now.
All right. Now, this one is called the conception vessel. And basically, this is a meridian, as you can see, that goes straight through the spine, right? It's lined up with the spine. So this spot is, the element is neutral, right? So it's a combination of all of them. But more importantly, what it is, the emotion is anxiety, breathlessness, and a lack of balance, trust, and presence. Right? So now we're sitting at the chair, we're cranking away for the corporate, right, world. Our shoulders are slumped, our chest is tight. What's happening to that area where the pec tightens up? It gets locked. It comes a knot. Right? You're shaking your head. See? Do you see how all this is? So what I'm doing is I'm taking you on a journey of how the chair that we sit in affects our body. The car seat we're sitting in for 2 hours to commute affects our body. Okay, so that's what this is about. So when you have anxiety and breathlessness, you tell me, is your body at rest? No, it's guarding. It's saying, I'm not comfortable. Then we go ahead and we take a melatonin tablet. We do what we need to do to get ourselves into bed. Well, guess what? You may be sleeping, but your body's not. And you wake up going, why am I so tired? Because your body is trying to tell you something, but we don't want to listen to it because we don't know how to listen to it. This is the
I think
language.
learning how to listen,
Exactly.
to the body could be a whole episode in itself.
Right. And that's where somatic body awareness happens. Right? So, and you can even go and meet the Dalai Lama himself, and he can bless you and all this stuff, and you're like 4 or 5 hours later, you're like, why am I still stressed? Because you didn't take care of the root cause.
Well,
So
that's
when you
what we're
start,
all about.
yeah, so when you start looking at this place and you start looking at how these ancient civilization, they created this beautiful understanding without all the technology we have. So if you take a look at that spot, CV17, I know it really well because I broke my sternum when I was younger and I split that thing in half. And it wasn't until I did deep work on my chest where I started to take a deep breath. So when the space is tight, the breath is shallow, and the emotion is containment, not free flowing, feeling good about ourselves or feeling good about our lives because we're breathing shallow. Now we're back into the breath, which means we're breathing from our fight or flight response, not our happiness response. So that area is a big one. And if somebody can't sleep at night, right, try releasing it. Don't dig into it. Just go soft and see what happens. All right, next video. Next slide. All right. Now, pericardium. We all have this spot. If you push this point lightly, not too hard, if it's tender, it's trying to tell you something. Okay? And what it's trying to tell you is this is part of the pericardium meridian or the heart meridian, right? And it's telling us we may have too much fire, right? And we need to get more water. We need to balance it. So if we have too much fire, we have too much energy. We have too much energy, we have too much stress hormone. We have too much stress hormone, we have a monkey mind that won't let us sleep.
I have a question, Tim. Does it matter if it's right or left hand? For
No,
the
you did.
PC6?
Yeah, you got them both.
You're symmetric on both sides for that.
Yeah. So those people that have carpal tunnel, right? Those people that have wrist issues, what do you think they do when they do the surgery? They go into that area. Ah, see?
Yeah.
And then you see the keyboard you're sitting in front of, and you know how you have to lift your hand up to get onto the keyboard? What do you think's happening to the fascia to your wrist? It's getting locked into that position. And then you go play tennis and you force it. And then it opens up and then force it again. And what happens? You have overuse issue. Then that leads to the wrist not moving. You can't move the hand into pronation and supination. So then you're sleeping with your hands so tight to your body and your thumb so close to your thigh, you're actually trying to protect yourself.
Mm.
Instead of Shavasana, a corpse pose, where you turn your palm over and say, I surrender. But how can we surrender if we're locked? So you've got the element is fire, the season is summer, right? The emotion is anxiety, overprotection, emotional constriction, and the taste is bitter,
Mm.
right? And the sensory organ is the tongue.
So explain to me a little bit by the taste being bitter and the sensory organ being the tongue.
Well, this is where it could get really deep, okay? So I don't want to go too deep because we'll be
Okay.
skipping. But what what is something if I have um, a diagnosed cardiac issue, right? High blood
Mhm.
pressure. What are some natural substances that they have you take that helps change that? There's
You got
somebody,
hawthorn berry,
what?
hawthorn berry, essential
Okay.
fatty acids.
Uh-huh.
When we're
And what
looking
does
in the
that taste like?
natural world,
And what is the taste
it's
of that?
it's a little bitter.
There you go.
Both of them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right? So this is how smart they were way back then. And a lot of people think this is hocus pocus, but it's I've known some world-class acupuncturists, and you're trying to get through a whole bunch of different stuff. So just because somebody had acupuncture and it didn't work doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means that it couldn't penetrate through all the fascia. So then I've got acupuncturists who call me up and say, hey, I'm going to send you somebody. Can you open up this meridian? Sure. And then all of a sudden they go back and like, wow, this is great because the needle's not going to get through it. And I'll fight that to my dying day. I will fight that. I know there's going to be people probably going to get butthurt over it, but I can't help that. Right? A needle is not going to go through all that scar tissue.
Mm-mm.
It's going to go around it because it's a signal. It's like a pulse point. It's going to reroute itself. It's not going to go right through it. But
Interesting.
acupuncture is amazing. I remember when I had it done to myself, a woman put a needle right in the back of my head, and I had a red spot for a whole week. And I was good because I was like, wow, my neck feels great. All right, next one. All right, now this one's really interesting. Okay, this is called the stomach meridian. If you notice, it's just a little bit on the outside of the shin bone,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay. The element is earth. The season is late summer. And the emotion is worry, overthinking, and lack of trust and lack of nourishment. So, yeah,
Mm.
see your face? So that's the
Mm-hmm.
stomach meridian. So that guy is linked to a lot of stomach issues. So what you can do is you can look up online or you can use this and just push on it. Push on the spot right now on you and see if it's tender.
It is not.
Okay. Other people could be very tender. And there could be a combination of them having, you know, um, stomach issues and stuff like that. But if you do, you just kind of massage it and you can work it and it'll tell you if it's sore. Push a little harder and it might be a whole different ballgame.
Where it hurts even more.
Right.
or or you push through
No,
and then
what you're doing
releases
is
it.
you're stimulating that area. And that area
Uh-huh.
is directly linked to the stomach.
Okay. Interesting. Folks, are you guys learning anything? I
I
mean,
hope
he's covering stuff that, I mean, I've had acupuncture, I've had acupressure, I've done nutrition for a decade now. Nutrition that actually works, not counting the 4 decades before that of just trying to figure stuff out. So I hope that you are taking notes. I hope that you are learning something. We have here with us Tim Marsh. He's a licensed massage therapist. He's also a certified um, I just lost the PT trainer. I got the trainer. um, and so much more. So get back with the person that shared this program with you if you have any questions in regards to the nutrition or how you want more information. In fact, Tim, I know you're here in Pennsylvania,
mm-hmm.
and people travel to come see you. I mean,
Yeah,
for me,
very
it's over an
blessed.
hour to get to you, and it is so worth it. So worth it. So if somebody wants to, and we're going to continue, but I want to get this in before we get to the end.
That's fine.
If somebody wants to get a hold of you, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, you have the information on this video, right?
We will have the information on this video. Absolutely.
Okay, or you can just log on to the website rootedsomatics.com
Okay.
and then you'll find us. But, we have we have 6 therapists. They're all great therapists. They are former and well, no, they're not former. They're still clients of mine, but they wanted to join the mission of trying to be the solution instead of part of the problem.
Which goes right along with our mission as well.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, Tim. Go ahead and continue, please.
No, it's so we're getting through this heavy duty stuff, but when the stomach meridian is stagnant, the thoughts loop endlessly and the fascia and the abdomen feel braced. So you heard that term, it's not what you eat, it's what's eating you. And then a lot of us, we don't have really good movement in our feet because we're sitting and we're tight. So then we stretch our calves. And then all of a sudden, people don't realize it's starting to come out. I was shocked. It was on Facebook, but there's a muscle right underneath the calf called the soleus muscle, and that's called our second heart. Because as we take a step, it contracts and pumps the blood back up. So, so when you start looking at these meridians, I advise people just to kind of do your research. And then when you find an acupuncturist, just talk to them. Just have them teach you. Have them show you, hey, why are you doing this? Well, this, and this, right? That's the important part. All right. So next slide is go ahead. What?
Oh, well, I was going to go. No, we'll go to the next slide, and then I do have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So basically, what this is showing people is that if I'm foam rolling my glutes, you see how the back is highlighted because it's connected. Or if I'm foam rolling my glutes and the upper part of my, you know, knee in the middle of the quad gets highlighted is affected. It's just basically saying that if you're using a roller, go slow and allow your body to release from multiple angles. But if you're going hard and pushing hard, you're not going to get that synergy. You're just going to get that myopic release. And then, you could start to over work that area.
Mhm.
All right, next slide. Okay, that one we already went through. Next one. Yep, these should be all the
Wait,
ones.
that's it. That's the last one.
Okay, we don't have the one with the lights.
No.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll take it from there. Okay, so a lot of times what people don't understand is, how when you wake up in the morning and you get that blast of white light and all of a sudden your eyes just kind of go really, really, like, get bursted really quick.
Mhm.
Well, a lot of people don't understand about the rods and cones in our eyes. So if the rods and cones in our eyes are responsive to light. So if I'm at home and I'm watching TV and my lights are up, or I'm blasting blue light from the computer or the TV, what happens is when we go outside in the sunlight for 10 minutes, and they say go out and get your dose of sunlight. Well, what happens is with these rods and cones, the light creates melatonin. And then as we wear down throughout the day, that melatonin decreases, right? Or it increases depending on what we're doing. So if I'm watching TV and the lights are really bright, it may be 8 o'clock at night, but my body's thinking it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
So, question on that.
Mhm.
Going back to being inside, going out, say we're driving. I mean, there was a time in my life where driving, if I didn't have my sunglasses on, it put me to sleep.
Mhm.
Is that why?
If the bright light,
Mm-hmm.
no, but you probably got put to sleep because of the fact your nervous system was it was like a fight or flight response. What I'm
Okay.
what I'm saying is this is like, why they say you buy like blue light cheaters and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because when we get blasted at night, it drains the what? It drains the melatonin that's building up or going down, depending on what happens. So we have to,
Melatonin is supposed to help us rest, right?
yes. So what do? We take more melatonin.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, folks, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat real quick. We have just a few minutes. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about after the lights?
No, I just wanted people to understand that these series of videos that I've done, I wanted to show a different side of the equation. You know,
And I believe you absolutely have.
I I hope I did. I hope, at least it helps somebody, but
Yeah.
but think about it. When we go home and we have our lights high, it's tricking our body into thinking it's still daylight.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to sleep? I know it, I did it for me. I got low warm lights in my house, right? And I wear my blue cheaters, and stuff like that. And it's helped. It's helped tremendously.
Okay.
But how many times do we look at the phone before we go to bed? And all we're doing, and that's why Apple and all these people, they decided to create that calibration, right?
Interesting.
So hopefully people realize I've been saying this every session, the HPA axis. People don't know it exists. And when chronic stress hits our body, it's going to hit all three of those. And if we don't address it, then we're going to address it with medication.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we really may not want to do, because what we're doing is all we're doing is over medicating ourselves. And the key to over medicating is educating us to do our research, to sit there and say, well, wait a minute, I'm on this anti anxiety medication and my traps are up by my ears. Hey, maybe there is a correlation. So let me work on it. Let me work on it. Let me work on getting my posture. Let me work on, instead of using my egotistic muscles and training my chest and biceps, hey, maybe I work my back muscles to pull me upright. Or maybe I change my chair or whatever it is. It's all about looking at it from a holistic standpoint.
Yeah. Say that again. Education is the key to over medicating.
Yeah. Because like
I
if you,
like that.
yeah, I mean, it's like when I used to be about 270, 280. I was a power lifter and I tore my bicep and I had high blood pressure. So I was on this pill called atenolol, whatever. It's a little white pill. Well, it worked. And then I went to Antarctica and I forgot them. So I had to detox myself. And what I learned is that I can survive without them, because what I did is I realized why I needed them. I was overweight, I was overstressed, I was overtaxing my body. So what I did is I did what a lot of smart people do. I did my own intervention and I said, all right, I'm going to go, I'm going to change my behavior. And most people don't know this, but that famous So Biggest Loser, how many of those people actually kept the weight off?
I'm gonna bet none.
Now there were a couple, but
Okay.
but these people were working out 2 or 3 times a day. How realistic is that? You're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
And you didn't change the behavior. You thought you changed the behavior,
Mm.
but all of us don't have the opportunity to work out 3 times a day. And then when you take that carrot away, who are they? Who are they without that trauma drama?
Back to being themselves.
Right. And then the body loses homeostasis. And now I'm coming back full circle and saying, without homeostasis, you don't have balance. And if you don't have balance, you have too much of one thing and not enough of another.
Right. It's a lot to digest.
It is. It's a lot to digest, but if anybody does their research, or they just look at it and say, okay, so I'm squeezing my workout in at 7 o'clock at night. What if I just didn't do that? Maybe I got up early in the morning and did it. Is my sleep better now? It could be. But I will tell you that the people that I work with, or we work with, that have sleep issues, we get these to go from here down, they sleep better. You know, because you did it.
I did. Yes. And our first question has to do with sleep and coffee. This is coming off of YouTube. Ivan Essence says, I stopped drinking coffee at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. I fall asleep fairly quickly. However, I will wake up 1 to 2 hours after around midnight and toss and turn a lot.
Mhm.
If I do not toss and turn, I get so antsy it hurts. Turning relieves it, and around 3 a.m. or so, I get deep REM sleep. What can I do to relieve that?
Stop drinking past 12.
So that's the first step. That should be pretty easy, right?
Yeah, because
It's
when you
all in
go
the
past,
mind.
when I go past 1 o'clock, right? I know what I'm doing because I'm cranking through and I just want that little extra, right? But when I mean, Dr. Huberman, all these people, all these
Mhm.
what they say the same thing, right? Another thing that people can do is don't take your coffee right away in the morning because you've got the stress hormones in your body. So what you want to do is let them deplete first. That's why they say do your workout, get yourself depleted, then put your coffee in because if you wake up and your hormones are the stress hormones are high and you put more coffee on it, you go higher. So I've done that. I don't have my first cup of coffee till a half hour after I wake up.
Okay. So about a half hour. So if they're making coffee at home, using a French press, waiting, 10 minutes before doing the whole strain, they're getting close to that 30 minutes. So that's
I prefer, people, the experts say at least 45.
45. Okay.
But
Well,
they can look that up online. That backs up. But as far as answering that gentleman's question, simple. Stop having it past 12 o'clock and then see what happens.
all right. Thank you so much for that. I know that they will be listening. If not listening at the moment, I'll make sure they hit the replay. And folks, you can catch the replay by going to Daily with Doc and Becca. Check out our channel. Make sure that you subscribe and look for Tim Marsh as we're talking about sleep and the HPA, system. Let's go to Marilyn, who has the next question. Marilyn,
Oh,
welcome to Daily with Doc. What is your question today?
yeah, hi, Dan. Great information. Now, I have a question about melatonin. Okay, when the sun goes down, it's supposed to be activated. But
Hmm.
also, I've heard that sunlight will regenerate it for the next day.
Hmm.
So, what's the proper light sequence when it comes to melatonin? I thought it was like pitch darkness, but then light also helps. I'm confused.
Well, uh, and I got this straight from Dr. Huberman's website, right? Melatonin for me particularly, if I take melatonin, right, it's going to mess up my stomach because of whatever chemical stuff is happening in my body. But most of us are coming home and we're not allowing our body to start to get ready for the sleep cycle. So that's where you kind of come home, you turn the lights out, down, you start to decompress, you immediately put your phone on that nighttime viewing thing, right? Some people like to take a certain cups of tea, like chamomile or stuff like that. But this melatonin thing is not always perfect because we're all different. So it's not one way or the other. It's just looking at how you want to uh, try to figure it out. But traditionally, when you have the melatonin, and you have these, you're sitting there, you put the light on, it makes your body think that it's daylight, so it wakes up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much. And I am scanning over, looking to see if there is another. Ivan Essence says, thank you, Tim. I have to check out for, oh, he's grateful for the answer to your question. So thank you so much, Ivan, for being on with us. We've got Bruce, we have Dave, we have several others. Let me see if I can scroll. And then I can only see who's on YouTube, but thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, whether you're on YouTube. And let's go ahead and get the co-hosts up while I'm speaking here. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, on FM, Radio FM, iHeart, wherever you are watching or listening, Spotify, Amazon Music, we want to make sure that we are meeting you where you're at. So if you don't find us on your favorite outlet, make sure you email us. Email is info@dailywithdoc.com. Let us know where you want to see us, and we will do our best because we want to reach people around the world where they are at. Tim, thank you so much for being with us today. We greatly appreciate you, your wisdom, and all that you do. I look forward to my next session. As every time I walk out, I feel great. I mean, yeah, it feels so great when you guys stop. But the greatness continues. So thank you, folks. If you are anywhere in the Pennsylvania area or planning to create a visit or even wanting a great place to go on vacation, Pennsylvania, Southeast Pennsylvania, come and see us and see Tim with Rooted Somatics. Make sure that you schedule an appointment 3 or 4 months ahead of time because he is in such high demand. And we appreciate your time, Tim. That's why we want to make sure we get you out of here on time so you can continue to help others meet their optimal best.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Tim. Thank you. And again, folks, that's Tim Marsh with Rooted Somatics. Just an amazing individual that has a passion to help people get to the root of why they're experiencing the poor health conditions that they are experiencing and working with the fascia. So thank you.
Thank you
and
for wonderful comments.
Well, I mean every word of it. Absolutely. And we have with us co-hosts. So Tim, if you want to go ahead and drop off, I don't want to keep you too late.
Bye.
We appreciate that. Bye for now. And we have with us a co-host. We have Marilyn, who is putting some amazing notes into the chat. I hope you guys are seeing those. If not, it's because 1, you're not here with us, or 2, just listening in the background, and that's good too, as you have amazing information going into your brain, feeding your brain so that you can make wiser decisions on what to do next. So thank you so much, Marilyn, for doing that. We also have Sherry. She's part of my tech team and getting everything set up so that we can do the stream out to all the different platforms. Thank you, Sherry, and keeping an eye on those platforms to make sure they stay up. We also have with us today Albert, letting people in and keeping an eye on things, whether it's the chat itself or people coming in and out. He is our gatekeeper. We just thank you, Albert, for being up in the middle of your night with us, as he is in South Africa. All 3 of these people are part of my phone team, and we have AJ, who's here as well, just not on camera at the moment. And I just want to do a shout out to AJ because he is one of the people who has helped us figure out where people are, where we need to be, and then making it happen. So thank you so much, AJ, for all you do as my tech master. He's part of the tech team, but he kind of leads that team. and greatly appreciate him. Folks, my name is Becca Dukes. I just want to invite you to take a deeper look into your health and wellness. It goes beyond just what we put in our mouths, and what we think might be healthy eating may actually be harming us. If you would like to get more information about becoming a certified holistic health coach, whether it's for your own knowledge and wisdom or wanting to help people and make a healthier community, as we on the screen here are doing, check out coach.dailywithdoc.com. You'll find more information about the Certified Holistic Health Coach course. If somebody specifically referred you, get back with them and ask if they know anything about the Certified Holistic Health Coach course. If they do, they're going to have their own link for you to use in order to enroll. So again, that's coach.dailywithdoc.com, and that is where you can enroll if you were not referred to somebody specific. If you do have more questions in regards to that, you can dial 855-IWH-CWHC, IWH-CWHC, and that will ring me as the Director of Student Services for the Institute of Holistic Health, and I can help you get some questions answered as well. So folks, have a fabulous day and smile. Let people wonder what it is that you have that they don't, and then offer your smile to them so they can do the same. Until next time, this program is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, nor is it meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease, folks. But education is power. Information is power, and allows you to make wiser decisions on what you can do, because folks, our bodies are not chemical deficient. We've got some structural issues and we got some nutritional issues. And sometimes one helps the other work even better. This program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com, where we have a good foods, bad foods list. Make sure you go to the website and sign up for our email list. We also have some articles there, past episodes of our Daily with Doc show, and a store where you can check out the products that we have found to be solutions to over 900 core health conditions. It's not the products themselves, but it's the way they're formulated with the nutrients that are science-backed to work within the body, to allow your body to work at its optimal best. Until next time, bye for now. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to